to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 44, How to Negotiate a Raise. Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Career Uprising. I was kind of jamming along to my intro music as I was kind of being counted in. I love my intro music. Oh, it just makes me feel so good. I should love it. I picked it. Oh, but it just, it's just kind of gets peppy and makes you feel good. For me, at least. So thank you for hitting the play button and joining me today. I'm feeling so good. We've had so much sunshine here finally in Virginia. The sun has hardly shined at all in the last couple of weeks, but now it is. Spring is here, so hopefully everything is going good in your world. And we have a brand new topic, as we usually do today. We're going to talk about how to negotiate a raise in your current job. And, I was asked a couple of days ago, do I ever have trouble coming up with more topics for my show? Because we're coming up on a year now for this show. I can't believe it's going to be a year old. And so somebody asked me, how do you think of topics? Are you going to ever run out? And honestly, no. I don't think I'm ever going to run out. Maybe I've never been one to be short on words. That's probably true. But I just have this sense of trust when it comes to creativity. And I love this platform of doing a podcast. It's something that I kind of always knew I was going to do at some point. And so as long as I show up and have the desire and there's an audience, I have complete trust that there will always be a message that will come through me. I've had no trouble so far at all thinking of topics, and you guys sometimes give me ideas for what you want to hear, which I love. So if you have that, email me at Lorraine@careeruprising.com and tell me what you want to hear about. But no, it flows through me. I have no worries about coming up with topics. I will probably be here doing this as long as you guys will have me. So isn't that a beautiful thing? As long as I'm there for it, it will be there for me. That is how life works. That is how creativity works. Awesome. So before we get started, we have a good topic. If you are new to the show, there are lots of great ways that you can go beyond this podcast and get even more help in your career. And I'm guessing you need help is why you hit the play button, like I said, and said, I'm going to listen to this. So there are several ways that you can connect with me. I've got a Facebook group that goes along with this show. It's by the same name, Career Uprising, capital U, capital R. I'm super particular about that. There is a right way and a wrong way, and it's a capital U and a capital R, all one word. I know. I'm very particular about my branding. So go to Facebook now. While you're listening to this show, join the group. I'll hit yes and accept you, of course. You will get tips, you will get bonuses, things you don't see other places. You will get videos, you will get me answering your questions. You can post questions. You might even make a new friend. There's other people in the group, of course. It's growing. So I would love to see you there. You can also join my email community to get special offers, my blogs, my videos. I put out massive content, you guys. Massive content. I know because I've been told that I do. Pretty much each week I have more topics and more lessons and more things that you want to hear that you are struggling with. And I over deliver to my audience. I love to do that. I really think that I do. I show up for my listeners and my email list and my Facebook group and all my social media followers. I love it and appreciate it. And I reward you for joining me with content that you want to hear that I hope and believe is relevant to you. So join me on the socials, email, whatever your jam is, or all of them. I'd love to connect with you further and help you take these lessons and not just hear them, but apply them in your life, because that will make the difference. Okay. All right. So our topic today, how to negotiate a raise. Does this scare the hell out of you? A lot of people, it does. So many of us don't even attempt this, right? So go ahead and raise your hand. I can't see you, so I won't even know it's you, but have you never attempted this? Have you never asked for more money than what was ever given to you in a raise or a new job offer? It is so totally okay. You're in good company. I used to be this way, not anymore. I have successfully negotiated my own raises and helped my husband to do the same. And more than just, the average 3% they give you, whatever, every year, what you actually might want to be making. Right? So many people shy away from asking for more money, maybe because of the fear of rejection, right? What if your boss says no? What if they say no and then it's like super awkward afterwards? Right? It's uncomfortable because there's always that elephant in the room, right? What if there's tension, friction? What if you're disappointed? There's all kinds of emotions that you're worried about feeling, and that's why you're avoiding it, okay? It's the emotion that you're afraid is going to happen. But I want to tell you that negotiating more money is actually a very normal thing to do. Now, it may not be comfortable and normal for you because you haven't done it before, or maybe you did one and it didn't go so well, and the answer was no. But it doesn't have to be awkward, right? It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. How you approach it makes a big difference, and what your expectations are, the timing of it. There's a lot of things that go into this. So if you want to learn how to confidently and successfully ask for a raise, then this show is for you. We're going to talk about practical strategies and dialogue for your next negotiation. And I will say too, practical advice, which is mostly what we're talking about today, is one thing, and that is important. You need to know that. But there's this underlying issue before you even really can apply any of that, of just feeling worthy and believing that it's possible to do this. You have to believe that something is possible, and you have to be willing to do it, and expect that it could really actually happen before you can apply any of this advice and do it. And many of us don't quite feel worthy. We feel like we're bothering our employer, or we're being greedy, or we're being pushy, or anything like that. You're going to need to work through that emotion first before you can apply anything I'm going to tell you. And I could do another show on that, but I have done shows in the past about feeling worthy. I think number 6, even. One of my first shows was about feeling worthy of your own success and accomplishments. That might be a great companion show with this, or a prerequisite, so to speak, because that's a whole separate issue. So once you push through those emotions and feel worthy of asking for this and kind of normalize it, so it's not this big coveted thing like, oh my gosh, that's so scary asking for a raise. You got to take the fear away from it. So I will just say that and make that disclaimer a little bit. So maybe we'll revisit that again, but I know I've talked a lot about confidence and worthiness throughout a lot of my shows. So what today is going to be is a little bit more of the nitty-gritty practical advice, what to say and when to do the timing and all of that kind of thing. So, all right, settle up. Let's get started. So the first thing, if you're going to do a salary negotiation, that I want you to do is research. I want you to know what is appropriate to ask for. So it kind of goes without saying, hopefully you already knew this, but it goes without saying that you need to know if the salary you are asking for is within the market average or the range that is appropriate for that. And if you don't know, do some basic search online. That's an okay starting point. There's multiple sources out there. LinkedIn has a salary tool now. I think you have to be a premium member, but it has a great salary tool. There's Glassdoor, salary.com, things like that. I get a lot of questions too about whether or not those are valid. And here's the thing. I think there's some validity to them. I guess we don't know 100%, but I think that if you go to multiple sites and you find the same number or pretty close to the same number, I think that that's a pretty safe bet. And if it seems reasonable to you intuitively based on what you know and your experience, but always go to more than one place. Don't rely on only one source. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so go to a couple of different places and make sure you're getting about the same number and make sure that number makes sense. But you also have to take into account a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into salary level. Your experience, location, huge difference with location, and your education level, the company's size. Small companies often simply can't compete with big companies on salary. They don't have the resources. So they may intentionally and knowingly be below the market average. This is not that uncommon. You have to know that. So yeah, experience level, location, education, company size, lots and lots of factors influence this, all right? More than people think. So make sure that you educate yourself. And one of the most accurate ways I think that you can do salary research is through your own network. In addition to going online, even better than that would be talk to people who are doing similar work to you, whether they're at your company or somewhere else, and make sure that you're getting paid well. You don't necessarily have to ask them outright what they are making, but you could say something like this. You could say, Susie Q, whoever, I know that you have experience in the graphic design field like I do, and I'm getting ready to negotiate a raise, hopefully with my employer. Here is a little bit about me, my education, years of experience in the company, and here's what I found in my research. I'm planning on asking for XYZ salary. Based on your experience, do you think that that's a good salary to go for? Would you suggest I go higher or lower? Notice how I asked them for their input and their insight, but I didn't ask them what they were making. Now, they may feel comfortable sharing that with you, which is even better, but I didn't ask anything nosy, right? So there you go. There's some done-for-you dialogue to find out what other people are making or what they think that you should be making. But get advice from people who are doing that work. That is far more accurate probably than anything you will find online. But just make sure it's an apples to apples comparison with all that criteria that I gave you. So number 1 is do your research. All right, number 2, I want you to focus the negotiation, the actual conversation on your accomplishments. A negotiation is all about your value. The argument that you make for the extra money should be based solely on your accomplishments and your value. This is really important because this is all that employers really care about. And that sounds cold, but it's not. It's business. Are you performing above average? You want to be able to demonstrate that you have taken on additional responsibilities or gone above and beyond, increase the bottom line somehow, and be specific. You have to be specific. A generalization will not work here. All right, share examples of projects that you've completed, how you've positively impacted the business. Was there an increase in revenue because of your efforts? Did you save a customer that was threatening to leave? These are all great examples, but you have to make sure that it's above and beyond your normal expectations of your job. Because what you're asking for is for them to pay you above what you're already making and what the pay expectation is. So you have to show accomplishments and value beyond those baseline everyday expectations. Now, I'm sure it's there. I know you're amazing. I know you can do this. You're a rock star. I haven't even met you, and I'm sure you're a rock star. I'm just saying dig deep and make sure that you give those specific examples of your rock starness. Okay? Like that word? Made that up for you. All right? So maybe you've received positive feedback from colleagues, customers, your manager. Be prepared to share that feedback. You might want to be documenting that. No, it's not conceited to do that. It's totally okay. You're doing it because you are collecting evidence of the value you provide. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay? You're going to use it in your next negotiation. So along those lines, assuming that you focus on your value and your specific accomplishments and why they matter to the business, that brings us pretty much to number 3 here. Don't make it personal. A salary negotiation is not personal. Never, ever, ever use any personal reasons for why you should receive this raise. It doesn't matter if you need the money. It doesn't matter if you want the money. This is business. Employers make pay decisions based on merit, performance, and bottom line results, nothing else. So nothing about your personal needs or situation should ever enter the equation. It will weaken your argument. Always think from the employer's perspective, not yours. Think about it this way. If you were the boss, and maybe you have been a boss, and one of your employees came to you and wanted a raise, what would you be looking for in their argument? What would make you say yes? Take that and apply that to your situation, all right? Turn it around and put yourself on the other side of the table in the employer's perspective. Anytime you are doing a negotiation or closing a sale or convincing anyone of anything, it is not about you. It is about them. It is about what they need and how they're going to perceive that information that you're asking or giving. It's not about you. It's about them. Okay? All right. How you guys feeling with this? I love it when I ask you guys questions that you can't answer. It's funny. I'm sure somebody somewhere is nodding their head or answering or turning this off, going, I can't do that. It's too hard. You can do it. You can do it. All right. So here's one more thing. Consider other forms of compensation besides money. If they can't meet you on salary, try negotiating something else. Is there anything else that matters to you? Maybe time off is another negotiable factor. Would you like more vacation time? Some people value that a lot more than a higher salary. And I have seen many employers be willing to add on extra vacation time. I've seen it happen time and time again. I would have to say vacation time is probably one of the more negotiable factors because it doesn't really cost them any extra money, right? You're not asking for more money. You're just asking for them to keep paying you the same thing and you won't be there that week, right? That is actually more attractive to a lot of employers. So think about what other perks. Maybe is telecommuting an option? Maybe you want to work from home one day a week. This would be a great time to negotiate that, or a flex schedule. Maybe you want to work different hours. Maybe you want a better office space, your own office. I don't know. I don't work where you work, but I'm giving you examples of things that are often negotiable. They may not tell you, but a lot of times they are. And you got to ask, right? Are you okay with hearing no? That is important. Before you enter any negotiation, emotionally get comfortable with hearing no, because you might. But I will commend you and reach through the microphone and pat you on the back for trying, because there's some intrinsic benefits that come with building up your confidence to do this kind of thing in life, right? Even if you hear no. Okay. So I've given you a lot to chew on for the moment. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to hydrate, but when we come back, I have more for you on this topic. I'm going to talk to you now about timing. When is the best time to ask for this raise? And there are more opportune times. Okay, so there's more coming up real soon. We'll be right back. everyone. While the show takes a short break, I want to let you know about a book that I recently wrote. That's right, a book. It's called Career Uprising. Unlock your potential and advance your career. And it walks you through how to bring about massive change in your career. And I'm talking about real, lasting change at the deepest levels. You'll learn more about my own career journey and the exact techniques that I have used to create my own success. So if you want to make a big move in your career, but you don't know how, or don't think that you have the courage, go to Amazon.com and purchase the book. It's called Career Uprising, Unlock Your Potential and Advance Your Career. And it's an ebook, so you'll be able to download it through the free Amazon Kindle app and start reading it instantly. And I've priced it very low cost, so you have nothing to lose. I know that you will get massive value from it. All right, let's get back to the show. Hey guys, and we are back. Thank you for that short break. All right, so here is why it is so crucial for you to at least try and get the raise. At least go for the ask, okay? As you might imagine, your future salary is going to depend on what you're earning now, right? So the more you earn now, the more you'll get in the future because your future raises are a percentage of what you're getting now. So there's this ripple effect that happens, right? So when you don't ever negotiate, and whether it's a new job or your yearly performance reviews, either one, if you don't negotiate, you will lose a lot of money in the long run. It may not seem like a lot in the short term, okay? Maybe it's only $2,000 per year, right? Right now. You'll see a little more in your paycheck with that. Not a ton, not a life-changing amount of money, right? But over time, that is compounded by then you get another raise on top of that. And then you go to another company, and because you're making a couple thousand more than you would have if you hadn't negotiated, now your new salary with them is going to be based off of that. You are going to see this ripple effect happen, and it's going to be either positive or negative, right? But you'll leave money on the table if you don't at least go for it, all right? Your current compensation will determine in a lot of ways your future compensation, whether you stay where you're at or go to another company or get a promotion, okay? So that's why this is so crucial, all right? Now, when is the best time to have this conversation? When can I do this? Well, and does it even matter? Yeah, I would say there are times that are better than others, or at least more expected and more appropriate, okay? There are 3 times when it is generally ideal to have a salary conversation. So the best time ever is when you first get the job, all right? So we'll address these each one by one. But the 3 best times are when you first get the job, then at the end of a probationary period. A lot of employers have like a 90-day, new hire period, and then at your annual reviews after that, or 6-month reviews, whatever you get. Some people these days don't get any. We'll talk about that in a second too. So let's look at each one of these individually. So obviously, when you first get the job offer, that is the prime time to negotiate because you haven't agreed to do the work yet. You haven't done a day of work for them and you haven't quite said yes yet. So you have the most bargaining power right there, all right? Once you start doing the work for a certain amount of money, it gets a little harder to negotiate more money, at least more than the standard 2, 3, 4%, whatever you might get that they have budgeted for annual increases, okay? So you might think this doesn't make any sense. You might think, well, once I get in there and really show them my value, then I'll be able to negotiate more. And yes, sometimes that is true, right? But you would be surprised. It seems counterintuitive, but you actually have the most negotiation power when you first get the offer and you haven't agreed to do the job just yet. Like they don't have you, and they've you on the line, but they don't have you yet. So then the next time would be if your employer, which many do, does some kind of, 60, 90-day probationary period, oftentimes there is a performance review and a salary review done at that time. This can be a very effective time to get a little bit of a bump as well. Now, if they don't offer you this, so when you accept the offer, if there's no 90-day, probationary period or anything like that written into your offer, ask them. Ask them to put it in there and see if they will agree to have a sit down, have a 90-day performance and salary review at that time. I've seen this be an effective approach as well. So for example, say when you're negotiating the offer, when you first get the job, and they can't meet you where you really want to be, what you can say then is, okay, I can respect that. Could we write it into the offer that we will do a 90-day performance review and salary review and revisit this conversation at that time once I've had 90 days to show you what I can do and acclimate to the job. Try that, okay? Again, the worst that can happen is they will say no, and then you have a choice to make about whether or not you want to take that job. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But it's true that once they see you in action and they feel like, okay, you're cool, you're going to work out, they may be likely to cough up a little bit more money at that time. But you need to have that written into the offer letter. If it's not in writing, it may not happen. It doesn't exist, okay? So look out for yourself there. Okay. And then the third time is your annual performance review. This, of course, is a very logical time to negotiate, and it's likely you might be getting a pay bump anyway, even without asking, because again, you're a rock star. I already know that. So maybe you're going to get 2%, 3%, 4%, something like that, okay? So you have a choice. You can take that and be happy with that, and that is fine. If they are already paying you pretty well, you're within the market average for that job, great, take it. But if you're still underpaid, you may want to counter and negotiate more, okay? So that would be your opportunity to do that. And keep in mind, they're likely expecting at an annual review that there may be some negotiation. This is totally normal, totally acceptable. So don't freak out like, oh my God, we're talking about money, okay? It doesn't have to be uncomfortable to talk about money. That is a very appropriate time to talk about money. They might even be expecting it, okay? So I just want to normalize it for you. Now, some of you may work at companies that don't even give you the courtesy of an actual review. The reviews, I feel like, at least in the older sense, more traditional sense, are kind of becoming obsolete. So if it isn't happening, then you need to initiate it. Ask your boss if we could do a sit down every 6 months and talk about your performance. It doesn't mean you're going to ask for a new salary every 6 months, maybe more like every year, but you should be having a sit down at least every 6 months, maybe 3, just to get feedback on how you're doing. And if they don't initiate it, you can, okay? So here's a little bit of dialogue to help you out. All right. I love sharing dialogue. It's fun. It's such a weird, nerdy thing, but I do. So here's some dialogue to help you for if you're currently in a role and negotiating a raise. So this is not quite for a new job offer. I think I have shared that in a past episode, how to make the salary that you're worth. Dig in the archives because that's in there too. This is for a raise in your current role. So it's going to sound a little different. Okay. Here's how this might sound. Based on the salary research that I've done and what I've accomplished this year, specifically winning that key account with XYZ company, I feel very confident that I should be compensated closer to $85,000, which would actually be a 5% increase from where I'm at now. I'd like to start the negotiations from that point. There, that wasn't so hard. That wasn't so scary. Use that, take that, steal it, make it yours. It's my gift to you. Keep in mind now that the number that you give them probably should be a little on the high end because they may counter back lower. That's okay, that's normal. Give a little bit of a stretch number, nothing wildly crazy or inappropriate for that job, but just give a little bit of a stretch number on purpose, knowing they may counter, and then you'll still be happy, okay? So here's a few things to not say in the conversation, all right? I need or I want. Remember, it's not about what you need or you want. It's about the value you bring and nothing else. Here's another phrase to not say. I'm sorry, or I hate to be a pain about this, but the minute you apologize, you have given away all your power and weakened your argument and you look insecure. All right? So that's not what I want for you. Now, what if they say no? What happens? Most likely they're going to say, well, I'm sorry, but it's just not in the budget. Okay? Which, by the way, may be true or may be total baloney. All right? They often can do it. The money is usually there. It's a matter of justifying it. So if they say that, then say, sure, I understand, but I also believe that I bring more to the table than the average candidate, and here's an example of why it would be worthwhile to pay me that salary. Then give that specific example of what you've already done. Okay? All right, how are you guys feeling? I hope that this will be helpful for you and give you a little bit of confidence in your next negotiation. Okay, so that is it for episode 44. I hope that you loved it. Consider coaching with me. Whenever you are listening to this, I can help you through this negotiation or whatever other pains you might be experiencing in your career. That is what I do best. I will be back next week, though. I love you guys, so go out there, be brave and bold, and be your usual magnificent self. And be a rock star, right? Okay, have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you next time. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.